All right, man, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just say that I think it is high time for a big ground pounding car audio comeback. I don't know if it's ever going to happen, and there's a few reasons for that I'll get into, but dang it, like back in the day, back in like the heyday, it was like 1 in 3 import kids were working at stereo shops. Like it was really like that. Like it was a foundation of the entire tuner culture. And then it just up and died. And I started thinking about why. And I've kind of narrowed it down to like 5 things. I'll see if I can do this off the top of my head. Maybe 4 things for TikTok's sake. One/2 would be JDM Trends. Like in the early 2000s when all the true JDM trends started to hit, it killed stereos. In the Honda world specifically, people started taking the big fiberglass systems out of their car. They started going lightweight. They started gutting interiors. They started repainting interiors. They started doing Miracle X bars and JDM door panels and all that. At the same time, in the rear wheel drive world, you had like drifting come into the US import scene real hard. And, everybody started selling their cars for S13 drift missiles, and drift cars didn't have stereos. It was just added weight. So that stuff, it just got pulled out of the scene. Also, just coincidentally, like at about that same mid-2000s time period, cars started getting complicated. That's when everything started becoming interwoven and connected, right? It was no longer just a doubled-in stereo that you could yank out of a new car and put in something cooler. It became stereos were integrated with navigation and your steering wheel controls and your air condition controls and all of this. And it took the damn fun out of it, because it used to be you got your birthday or Christmas money or bonus money or whatever it was, and you went in and you bought a badass head unit that went and it was motorized and it had dolphins on it and it was kick-ass. And then that turned into like pack adapters with stupid names, like just a serial number for a name, and they were $300, and they got stuffed behind the factory radio and you never saw it, and it wasn't fun, and they took all the wow factor out of stereo systems, which were big and bad and colorful, and it turned into like an annoying headache. So that was probably a big one. Third, the internet, and the internet kind of kills this whole thing in 2 ways. One, obviously, online sales. Online sales killed all the walk-in stereo shops, like the Circuit City Road shops and the Best Buys and the Tweeters and the Hi-Fi Buys, and of course all the local shops that were surviving. They got hit hard by eBays and stuff like that came up in like the early and mid 2000s. And with the internet, there's another side of it too, because it was also kind of like the internet. What is it? It was almost like the dawn of cancel culture. Even back then in like the mid 2000s, you had the little group of the antis, the ones that in the real world got overshadowed and just overridden. But online, they kind of magnetically found each other and breeded their little anti-attitudes and just started smugly hating things that were just cooler than them. And that gained traction, and it did. It kind of made you feel self-conscious for doing something that was fun and awesome, because you were getting kind of internet bullied about it. And we still see that today. Obviously, that problem has just grown. So, I don't know. Will stereo ever, will it ever be able to come back? This whole thing, and I know I'm rambling at this point, it was spawned off of, I'm a dad now, and my little girl was in the back seat the other day, and Beastie Boys was on the stereo, and I wasn't in a cool car. I was in a press car. It was a Corolla Cross, right? But it's got a little factory sub in it. And so when you went, let me clear my throat, I was like, oh, Harlow, check this out. We used to, and then I turned it up and the bass hit, and I was like, back in the day, we used to knock dead moths out of the street lights. Our stereos were so loud, and it was awesome, and we just did it for attention, and we wanted to offend you, and that was the whole point. That was the motive. And my 8-year-old little girl just looks at me like I'm an odd duck, like I'm crazy. So now I want to show her. Now I'm going after a system. It's high time. It's gonna be fun. Oh, last point. music kind of sucks now. Maybe that's my age talking, but maybe it's also fact. And the way that people listen to music has changed now. See, it used to be quality, volume, like that's what it was all about, you know, and in home stereos too, in car stereo, everything was big and lots of components. And then it became about streaming and convenience and mobility, I guess, and everything turned into, people listen to music on a phone speaker. It's ridiculous how much they don't care about quality and how much they do care about just convenience and singles and streaming. And so the whole music industry's changed. I don't know if it'll ever come back, but damn it,